everyone. Today we're going to talk a little bit about ventilator basics. And so first I'll start by saying that we do all have different ventilators, unfortunately, throughout the South Denver group. However, this information should all still be the same. So when we're putting in our settings, we can start with PEEP, and that is our positive end expiratory pressure. And so that is the amount of pressure that's left in the lungs after expiration to keep the alveoli open. And that's generally going to be anywhere from 5 to 7 for most of our babies. And that's what we provide babies whenever we're giving CPAP. The next setting we can enter would be our PIP, and that's our peak inspiratory pressure. And so that is the highest level of pressure that is within the lungs during inspiration. And that level is generally going to be 20 to 25. We may need a higher setting for babies that have like chronic lung disease or otherwise poor lung compliance, because we're going to need more pressure to open those lungs. Our MAP is our mean airway pressure, and that's just the average amount of pressure in the lungs throughout the PPIP cycles. Our I time is the amount of time that we spend in PIP. And we can talk about pressure support in a little bit, but we'll start with respiratory rate, which we also need to enter into our ventilator, and that's going to be 30 to 60. So you might see some values like this written in your order, where our PIP is 20 to 25, our PEEP is 5 to 7, our I time is 0.35. So our I time can also be affected by lung compliance. So if we have a really tiny baby, like a 26-weeker, we might have a smaller I time of like 0.3. And if we have like a bigger baby with chronic lung disease, we might have a higher I time because it's going to take a longer time to fill those lungs. So that I time might be 0.45. But in general, for most of our babies, our I time is 0.35. And then our respiratory rate is anywhere from 30 to 60, like a normal baby. And then I want to have just a little discussion up here. Of note, whenever we are putting in our orders, so if your doctor says to you, our settings are going to be 20 over 5, this is what we mean. So our PIP is actually the total amount of pressure, and that includes our PEEP. So it's going to be an additional 15. But what we don't want is on top of our PEEP. So then we would be at 25 over 5 instead of 20 over 5. And so this would be more volume more pressure that we want to be giving. And that can lead to barotrauma and lung disease and other things that we don't want to mess with. So if you're ever confused about what your provider wants, always clarify. So another concept that we're going to talk about is oxygenation. So our PaO2 is the amount of oxygen that's dissolved into the blood. So it comes from the alveoli, goes to the blood, and then the blood carries the CO2 back from the tissues to exhale through the lungs. And so we obviously need to have hemoglobin for oxygen to attach to. But on top of that, we need to have a good match. Ventilation perfusion, which is for some reason Q match. So you probably remember VQ mismatch from college. But what we have here is a good example of a mismatch. So we have a low PaO2 because our alveoli are atelecticized and they are far away from our blood vessel. And so our gas exchange is going to be difficult. Over here, however, we do have a really good ventilation perfusion match. So every alveoli has access to a blood vessel that supplies it, and it's nice and inflated and it's close to the vessel. So that's really what we want. So if we're having issues with oxygenation, how do we go from a VQ mismatch to a good match? We increase our mean airway pressure. And so what that mean airway pressure is this average pressure that is underneath this graph, and it includes all of the pressure that we're providing this baby, and that includes our PEEP and our PIP. So all of this down here is our mean airway pressure. And so in what ways if we wanted to increase our oxygenation, could we increase our MAP? Well, the first thing we could do would be to increase our PIP. So that is obviously going to increase our mean airway pressure because we've increased the amount that we have for each of these breaths. So each PIP and PEEP cycle, our inspiratory time, and expiratory time is an entire breath. So another way that we could increase our MAP would be to increase our PEEP. Sorry, I'm drawing left-handed here, but so that just increases the pressure in between these breaths, and that will increase the total that we have underneath of our graph, and so that increases our MAP. What's another way we could do that? Well, you're right. We could increase our I time. So we could make this bigger. So that increases the amount of time that we're in inspiration, which increases the amount of time that we're underneath our graph. So that increases our mean airway pressure, which increases our PaO2. Okay, so now to talk about ventilation. So oxygenation, which we discussed, is oxygen going to the body, into the blood, to the tissues. And that's going to be affected by our FiO2 and our mean airway pressure, the average pressure that we're giving this baby continuously. So the next concept that we'll talk about is ventilation, and that's getting CO2 out of the body, another important part of breathing. So carbon dioxide actually bonds really well to our blood. And so it's not really an issue of the approximation of the capillaries to the alveoli, but rather about getting the CO2 out of the alveoli. And so there's a couple of ways that we can increase the amount of CO2 that we are getting rid of, thus increasing ventilation. So what is going to get CO2 outside of the body? Well, one of the things we can do is increase the amount of volume, our tidal volume, that we are putting into the lungs and expelling, because that's going to be expelling more CO2 with a bigger breath. Another thing we can do is keep our same size breath or a bigger breath and increase our rate, because that's going to be another breath to help get that CO2 off. We call it breathing it off. And so we can increase the rate or increase our tidal volume. So we're going to talk a little bit about tidal volume. Tidal volume is going to be pretty dependent on lung compliance, which can vary from baby to baby. But as you can see here, it requires a lot of pressure, and we get very little volume until we reach a certain point in which our pressure gives us quite a bit of volume until we sort of tap off here. So the analogy that a lot of people use is when you're first blowing up a balloon, you actually have to put in a lot of pressure to open it up, even just the littlest bit. And then it gets a lot easier to inflate the balloon. But once the balloon is big, it gets harder again, where you're having to put in a lot of pressure and you're getting very little volume back. So looking at this graph with our typical values, we can see what our delta P is. And so that is the difference between our PIP and our PEEP. And then this here is our tidal volume. And so you can see how that can really be affected by lung compliance. So if we have a surfactant deficient baby, we might be like that in our lung compliance. I'm not sure if that's right, but if we were to give surfactant, we could potentially get us back on a better curve, and that would help us increase our tidal volume, which would help us get rid of our CO2. You can also see from this graph that if we were still at 15, but let's say we were 15 and 0, this is going to be an actually like lower volume than if we were at 5 and 20. So those are some important things to remember about tidal volume. Okay, so we have sort of determined that the way to get CO2 out of the alveoli and out of the body is to breathe it off. And so you want to have an increased volume so you can get that deeper breath that will really help get that CO2 out of the alveoli, and you can increase the amount of times that you're breathing per minute, and that will also help you get rid of that CO2. So to demonstrate, we have our normal ventilator graph, which is time and pressure. And so if we were to just increase our map in some ways, let's increase our pressure here and increase the amount of times that we are breathing, then that would hopefully help us breathe off some of that CO2 by taking deep breaths and more frequent breaths. So if we have a high CO2, we want to take a deeper breath and increase our respiratory rate. And then the final concept that we will talk about today is pressure support. And so what that is, this is a baby that is taking no breaths on their own. So that is just totally ventilator breaths. We'll say we're going at 40 breaths per minute. But because we want to allow this baby to take their own breath and we don't want them fighting the vent, whenever this baby starts a breath, SIMV vents will complete that breath to get us to the PIP that we want to be at. Because a lot of the times the baby will breathe like a little shallower or regular. On top of that, if we're giving 40 breaths per minute and this baby is breathing 50 breaths per minute, we will see some pressure support. We'll see some extra breaths like that. And so what this is that the baby is going to need a little bit of extra pressure to help them take their own breath because that baby is breathing through a very small ET tube comparatively to lower resistance trachea. So it's high resistance, and so it makes it very difficult to breathe through a tiny straw. And so what the pressure support will do is give them just a little bit of additional pressure to help them take that breath and decrease that resistance of breathing against the tube. So as a review, if we get, it has to be an arterial sample for a PaO2, the amount of oxygen that's dissolved in blood. So if we show a low PaO2, we can increase our FiO2 and we can increase our MAP. And so that is our mean airway pressure, the average pressure that we are providing this baby through our PIP and our PEEP. And so we can increase our I time, because remember that would increase that amount of time. We can increase our PIP, and that will increase all of this in our expiratory time. And you can't really see here, but we actually spend more time in expiration than in inspiration. And so increasing the PEEP is actually a pretty effective way at increasing our MAP. And then finally, of course, increasing the PIP will increase our pressure, and that will hopefully push these alveoli closer to our blood vessel so that we can have good oxygen exchange. And so that's my bad red blood cell, but and so that's what we would do if we had a low PaO2 with our vent settings. And in conclusion about our PaCO2, or the amount of CO2 dissolved in our blood, and that can be from any gas sample, so venous, arterial, capillary, what we would want to consider is increasing our respiratory rate and increasing our pressure so that we can breathe off that CO2. So we want to take a deeper breath to breathe off more CO2, and we can increase the rate at which we're breathing off our CO2 to breathe off more as well.